Welcome to John Michael's Rockbox. I'm your host, John Michael. I get to host this show well, it's a show about you. If you're a musician, if you're a solo artist, if you're a painter, if you write books, you're a dance club, well, I'd like to hear from you. Send me your information to jmrockbox@mcaet.org. All right, we'd like to hear from you, and somebody will get right back to you. Now, also, if you'd like to watch the show, simply go to mcaet.org/watch, and you'll see all the variations on how you can watch the Rockbox. And, well, this show really wouldn't last without you, so we do definitely need your donations, and visit mcaet.org/donate. We'd like to welcome you to the Rockbox, and with that being said, let's head on over and meet our guest, and welcome to the Rockbox. Welcome back to the Rockbox. Boy, I tell you, the shenanigans that goes on when those cameras turn off. You guys are a crew. You guys, this is a motley crew. It's, you know.
Indeed.
And you hired them.
I did. That's all I could find on the budget
That's all I could
had.
find. Yeah, they said they'd do it for free.
That's kind of how it went.
That's what you get. That's what you get when they say, okay, I'll do it for free. Just like to give me a ticket. Huh? Yeah.
That's it.
All right, so you've got the place. You've got the band. They're coming. Erica has got a lot of paperwork to do.
Tons. Yeah.
So, young lady, hope you took a swig of water. It's your turn. What does David throw at you? Okay, Erica, here.
Yeah, he's, pretty much everything and anything, and walks me through it. So we had to do, dressing rooms, I mean, there's
Labor,
stage,
portable
the
dressing
labor.
rooms, meet and greet booths, you name it. Everything in the band's writer, which is like a novel. You know, it's like 50 pages.
Doorstop.
Stuff that the band needs. You know, we have to comb through that and identify all those things and find the people to do it. Unfortunately, like on this particular show, I just kind of, because we had a lot of adversity on the show, I just dumped everything in Erica's lap and said, handle this.
Right.
And she just kind of had to sort it out as we went along, because this was her first show, and, you know, she just brought it. She got it all done. You know, and there's a lot
Yeah, well, it's on the fly. You don't have a lot of time to prepare. It's not like a manual or something.
You're right, right. Now, just in case a writer is the needs of, is it the, and now you're talking about
the whole band, the individual needs of each band member, and what the band requires as far as production, what they expect out of the facility, security details, everything associated with putting the show on. So we have to, you know, read it page by page, identify who's going to take the lead on certain deals. You know, the security detail, we're going to kick it off to Dwayne. The construction building stuff, Rick and I are going to jump on. All the catering requirements, Lori knocks that down. All the different stuff that, you know, meet and greets, fan deals, individual, this guy wants to go to the golf course, all kinds of stuff. Erica jumps on all of that stuff. And so I guess with your basic, I want water, I want green M&Ms or whatever, there's got to be some just crazy. I mean, for one thing, green M&Ms by themselves, I never understood that one. But do you get weird stuff on your writers? We get them all the time. All the time. Here's how it goes down. We read the writers, and I see all this stuff. Lori wants to give it to them all, and I'm like, screw that. So Lori's got the task of trying to balance between the band's wants and what my budget dictates, because they, you know, of course, every band's going to ask for the world. If you'd like to give it to them, they'll take it. They'll gladly take it. I'm all about not wasting stuff and staying in a budget, and then Lori's got to find that happy medium between me and the band that wants everything, so she's got to work that relationship between their folks and try to come to some common ground to facilitate those eccentric needs that some of them have. So, yeah, there's some pretty peculiar stuff inside those writers.
So, Erica, you see that list and you go like, oh, Lori. Lori, look what you're going to have to try to find.
Yes. Yeah. And it's always fun. It's always fun. There's always something different. This time with Aerosmith, they're big into their health, and a lot of organic, a lot of vegan, gluten-free. Then they want their alcohol. So, you know, it's kind of a fun thing to do.
Sure.
It's always interesting. Muffins.
Muffins?
They had a
Steven
special
Tyler,
muffin
has his
recipe.
own recipe that every day he's got his special blueberry muffin that you have to prepare for him before the show.
Oh.
So yeah, it's always fun.
So
What you're thinking.
Well, it's got the ingredients, the cooking directions, what time of the delivery, the
Oh, yeah.
temperature. I mean, it's
really?
One
that
turkey
detailed.
drumstick without skin on it. Oh yeah. It's,
Wow.
It's
Wow.
fun. It's fun.
Thank God Lori's nice.
Yeah, right? And then Laurie, I just looking at it, go like, oh, wow.
If it's up to me, we'd all be eating Kentucky Fried Chicken.
That's
So
right. Here you go. We got a
Lori
bucket
hooks it
that's
up.
on sale. We got a lot of them for, you know, half price.
Well, and each artist in the band has their own dressing room requirements. So, you know,
Yeah.
Steven Tyler might request something for his dressing room,
Sure.
and then, you know, Joe Perry wants something completely different. So you have to take what they want from the writer and go off what David wants, and then just make it work. Make him happy.
Okay, so you see the list. Okay, David, this is what they want. Whoa.
Yep.
So you look through and
That's it.
just go like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, I look at
Exactly.
it and say, holy
Bullshit.
crap, that's going to be a ton of money. And Lori, cut that thing down. So, yeah,
So
because.
you just say yes or no, and then
He'll
here you go.
strike it off.
Then I
Well,
have to work
you know,
with the
because,
tour.
I mean, obviously one human being can't consume like 80 pounds worth of stuff they
Right,
want
right,
there.
sure.
You know, so there's a part about being practical
I
of what
understand.
somebody truly needs. Because, I mean, I've got warehouses full of stuff that we didn't use at shows, so I try to be practical about it. But I don't want to upset the artist, so that's where, you know, Lori handles that because she's much nicer than I am. So she has a way of making them happy and giving them less. So we come down and try to arrange what they really could get by with, and Lori facilitates that. And there's a lot more into it. Also, she's got to stock their tour buses.
Yeah.
She has to do
Hello.
the whole feeding at the hospitality tent.
Right.
They've been individual artist dressing rooms, the stage stock. I mean, there's a lot of different detail to go into that. So Lori's got a giant list of stuff that she's got to facilitate day of show.
Including taking care of their crew.
Including taking care of their crew, and we feed them at load-in. So if we're loading in, we usually load in about 6:30 in the morning. So we serve them breakfast, and I go through the menu with the tour manager, with the production manager, and we try to throw in some local food so they can
Right.
kind of see what Salinas, what we're about, and then we feed them lunch and dinner on top of everything else. Yeah.
Or make adjustments if the stage gets delayed and we don't have breakfast, and then
Right.
you're switching to
So
brunch.
okay, so now all right, so
And it's always different. I mean, you could have a set menu for a day or 2 days, like as in the case of Aerosmith, and you get the call that everything that you've planned thus far is going to change. So then you just deal with it.
because you don't know the what ifs.
You never know, and
So do you prepare for the what ifs?
you can't. You just
can't.
have to. You just have to be in the moment and do the best you can. And luckily, you know, it works.
Right.
It always seems to work.
So you got to have a lot of go-to people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, okay,
Absolutely.
because you can't think in your head, what if? You just got to be able to, okay, this is what we got, this is what we got to do, and then something happens. Okay, so there's that, so I need to get a hold of, But in the back of your mind, there's that person's already, you know,
Yeah.
in waiting, just in case, if you know, like I need extra food or, you know.
Yeah, well, everybody here, I think, at this deal, we've all dealt with adversity at all the shows.
Sure.
So we're accustomed to dealing with those, oh my God, this just happened, we got to deal with it. So we all know what to do in a crisis situation, which happens at every show. I mean, we've had a lot of adversity dealt to us on some of the bigger shows that we've
Yeah.
had, and most recent, you know, the last 3 shows have all been littered with lots of problems, which you just deal with that individual problem, and you do it with the skill set that you've developed over previous shows.
Sure.
So happens every time. It's a lot of moving parts, so they're going to jump up, but you got a great crew like this, you just get it done.
Well, yeah.
Figure out a way.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
So
And
a lot
we
of
don't want the audience to know. That's our thing is, you know, everything that happens backstage and the mishaps and all
Yeah.
that, we just don't want, at showtime, we don't want the audience to know
Oh,
any
yeah.
of this. We want them to see a killer show.
what you guys need is a camera following you, just So you can do
Oh, no.
you can do a blooper reel later on. I mean,
Yeah.
if anything, just for you guys to sit around on, when we're done, and then all right, we're gonna get together and have a barbecue now, and watch what happened. Look what Lori did.
But, yeah.
Run out of diesel here. Nobody needs to know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
right.
You know what I mean?
So I get.
Key.
Taking it to the grave.
Yeah.
Taking it to the grave.
Well, you guys can watch your own video. Yeah. Maybe not. Huh? Somebody will spill the beans.
No, I don't want to watch
Come here, you gotta watch it. So it sounds like a lot of things are running off a rider, which will include staging, security, and all that. So we're Dwayne and Rick. You guys are. I mean, I'm sure the ball is already thrown to you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's okay. We need. So I don't know which one you guys want to jump in.
When things get started this time around, when we first got started in doing this, Dave took a lot of things on himself.
Right.
I mean, he was in charge. He didn't relinquish a lot to those of us that were here to help him, because none of us really knew what we were doing, number one. But as we learned, we noticed he starts relinquishing things to us. He relies on us now, and it kind of makes things a little bit easier for us by being able to take control of those things. For instance, this time, I didn't realize what was going on with security until I got a call and an email from the head of security for Aerosmith. Usually it would be David saying, hey, you need to take care of this. This time I got a direct line, and I'm like, okay. And then here comes the rider this thick, and I'm like, oh, I see I've stepped up, and so that was good because it started back early. So I was able to get a handle on it originally with these guys, because each one, as the venue gets bigger and the artist gets bigger, they have a different requirement for security. We've had it as simple as, hey, put a couple guys in the corner on the stage and everything's good, to now I've got a rider this thick where they want to know if there's any police cameras, if there's any fire department cameras. They wanted evacuation plans. They wanted just a multitude of things. So I was able to get on the horn with their main guy, and he and I spoke individually for the longest time, probably 3 months before it even got going. We got to be such good friends that even when he got here, he actually got married. When he got here, his girlfriend and he decided to tie the knot on the Central Coast here. So I helped set him up with a place to go for dinner and all that. And we've been really good friends ever since. We talked quite a bit, but it was kind of nice that David trusts us now enough that he starts letting us take care of ours. And I'm sure it takes a big load off of him too, knowing that he can turn this stuff over, and we've got enough experience under our belts to handle it.
Sure. I remember him back in the day of, I got to take care of this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, he'll take it all on.
No, I remember that, David.
Yeah. He'll take it all on, and
you
he'll
had to do in the early days.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. There was no. I mean, you can't get hold of him now, but but even then, he had that girl, your little follower, that just, you handed her your phone.
Yeah.
So every time I try to call you, I got her. Maybe.
Still does that.
But no, it was even worse then.
Yeah.
It's like, where is he? I don't know.
Well, that's
you can imagine the amount of phone calls you get the day of a show.
Yeah, no. And mind you, I learned to not
yeah.
try to call you a week.
Yeah.
And half the shows he's on a forklift.
Yeah.
So he's, he's the promoter, he's the forklift driver.
They didn't realize who he was.
Yeah,
some
they
of the
don't.
workers.
They don't realize that he's not just a promoter. He's involved in every aspect, and a lot of the promoters don't do that. But he's, he gets in and he does it.
And that's what Aerosmith said too. They were really respected David because they've never seen a promoter out there
Setting up chairs.
The first morning when they show up at the stage, it's usually us on forklifts, and we're on forklifts unloading stages off of trucks, and then we slowly put Dave in the background. Rick and I just handle the fires for the rest of the time, just nonstop. If something jumps up, we used to call David.
We don't talk to him.
We don't talk to him anymore. We don't even want to see him. We don't even want to know where he's at.
Week of the show.
Just leave him alone. We know how he is.
We're good.
If we need to know where he's at, we call Erica. Hey, where's Dave? That's it. We just give
him a message.
And I think what a lot of people don't realize is when you're doing a show like the magnitude of Aerosmith, and with security being so tight, you cannot have a large crew, because when it nears a couple hours into showtime, there's security posted everywhere, so
people gotta go.
People have to leave. So basically, it's when you start the show, there's a lot of activity, and 2 to 3 hours in showtime, nobody's back there. So you look around, and it's pretty much all of us there and security, because they don't want extra people back there.
I've got a great bunch of guys that have been hanging with us for a while now that I rely on as our security, and these guys prior to even David's situation. I've ridden bikes with these guys. We've done a lot of security prior, so these guys really know how to look, where to be. They understand to take direction. They don't let anybody get away with anything. And the old myth of there's just mayhem and craziness backstage isn't really all that it's made out to be. Most of these guys want it quiet. They want to have a nice path to and
It's not the 80s anymore.
No, they want a nice path to and from the stages. They want it safe. Some of their requirements are extreme to get to and from. When we unloaded the stage after the end of the concert, we had limousines backed up right to the back of the stage, each one for each member, and along with Joe Perry's bus was there. There was a criteria that I had to meet with their people as who was leaving first, who was getting in first. It's extreme. The bigger it gets, the more extreme it gets. So you sit there all week long, and we beat ourselves up working on this thing, and then I don't even get the chance to really enjoy the show. These guys get most of the chance to. I'm still having to hang with the security through the whole thing, and it gets pretty wild. And these guys had quite a requirement this time.
They did.
But out of all of them, I got to say, because it was so organized, that it was a lot easier to do, even though it was much more work this time around.
It was easy.
It was easy.
We've done it so much harder learning, and now we've all learned it. So we know how to address things a lot quicker. We've been just pulling our hair out and just maxed out, just stressed to the max. But this one here, we threw the biggest concert yet, and I think it went a lot smoother than any concert we have. And I think that shows for our relationships and how we've learned to work together and make, we're skilled professionals at it now instead of just the good old boy concert crew,
Those were good old days.
Those were good old days.
We are pros. We are
well.
pros. I got a guy dangling 65 feet in the air. And I got another guy trying to tell me up and down. I don't need to watch that. I'm just watching the man up top.
Right.
So no room for mistakes.
No, and then we put in, the time. I don't think people realize either the time you put into a show. I mean, I think we all put in 19, 20, 22-hour days, prior to that. Nobody realized that. They just think you're backstage having fun, and while everyone leaves the show, we're still there making sure everything, the stage is broken down. Everybody is taken care of. So we're out of there.
Before anybody
we're
even
late.
gets there.
I think
there at
that
5:30.
That whole
5:30.
backstage deal that people have these fantasies in their mind that they think it is something that it's not. I think that a lot of that came from the 70s and 80s when it was a decade of decadence there where things were out of control. Corporate America has taken over. It's really well organized. Like Dwayne said, it's very scripted. They have specific needs. They want it quiet. They want it orderly. So the game has changed considerably. Backstage is not where you want to hang out because it's quite frankly pretty boring back there. People are all working. There's not those big parties and all those things you've heard in the past. Might have happened, although we have had a few.
We've had a couple.
So there's been a few that have defied the norm, but for the most part, it's it's a very professionally run deal. These things are well scripted. The day of the show, it's like a fine military operation. Everything's timed. We have a script that we advance 2 weeks out with the artist from exact time, what time the tour bus is going to hit, when we're going to do load in, when we break for this, when we take lunch, when we start sound check, when we do this, the meet and greets. Everything is scripted from the start of the day till the end of the day. And then people come to the show saying, "Oh, hey, can I do this? I want to go meet the artist." They don't understand that nothing runs like just off the cuff. It's all scripted. And the artists have very little time to engage with fans, and all of that is pre-negotiated, that who's going to meet them and stuff. We don't have that ability to turn on a fly and just change things. It's all on a script, and like Dwayne said, and Rick Laurie, all of us, this show rolled very smooth for as big as it was, as many moving components of it, because we spent that time organizing this and getting it scripted correctly, and we executed the plan, and it rolled really good. Other than the mishap of our stage malfunctioning. Now that was a whole different problem, but other than that, everything went fantastic. So.
And it's fun. I don't think people get to, even though we're working long days and it's probably some of the hardest work you'll ever do, it's fun. We have a good time.
But we're smart.
We enjoy it. We enjoy the people we meet, at load in, and you develop these relationships with them. And, you're immersed in this culture for a day, 2 days, such as Aerosmith. And it's fun. And it's, you wouldn't change these life experiences for anything. when you look back on your life and you think, wow, you know, I got to meet Aerosmith and Poison and, you know, the list goes on, the Scorpions, and you can't put a price on that kind of experience. It's just, it's why we do it. I mean, it's just, it's good times.
And it's not like we're a bunch of star-struck individuals.
No.
It's not like we only want to do the work to meet the artists, this and that.
Right.
We become part of the artists. We become part of their crews. We become very intimate with these people on a friendship and a working basis, which is better than any 5-second sign my autograph type thing.
Right.
It's a whole different relationship that you get to have with these people. And it makes it different, yeah.
All right, so, you know, we've heard, Rick, you've chimed in a little bit. What in the world do you do? I'm just kidding. I know you do. You're a busy guy out there with this whole, all these shows.
Yeah, heavy equipment, construction, whatever Dave needs, whatever Dwayne needs. A lot of times we'll go over there and the place will be dusted out. And I'm looking around and there comes Dwayne with the water truck. You wouldn't think that.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you wouldn't think, what about the water truck? Well, you need a water truck there. Or by Lori's place, goes outside and there's a big dust storm. We are in Salinas and it is dirt.
Yeah.
So working as a team makes it easy. And the longer we've done it, the easier it gets. So.
You all kind of know each other's, well, I hate to say thoughts, but, okay, I need this, or like, oh, yeah, so like you just mentioned, there's dust hitting, it's going to hit Lori's building, and she's got food out.
Or
that's going to be lovely.
I show up at 5:30 in the morning and I see Dwayne laying in his truck. I see feet. I see feet out there laying over there, and I walk out and he's already watered the whole arena. Everything's been watered ahead of time and he's already sleeping. It was at 5:30 in the morning, so he's already been there at 4:30.
The big thing about it is the venues themselves. In order to make each job easier on us, sometimes it takes us having to work those venues a couple times.
Sure.
For instance, with the Rodeo Association, we're dealing with Rodeo Association people, which we've done this on our own before, but now we have to kind of split the difference on the venue. And same with Monterey County, the fairgrounds. It took a while doing a few concerts there to know where we need to keep security, to know what the requirements are to keep dust down, where we can put tractors, and after you've done a couple times and you've lived and learned in each of those venues, now those venues become easy to do.
Right.
But until you've learned the people you've got to deal with at each of the venues, for instance, with the Rodeo Association, this is a tough time for them when we do that because the rodeo starts on Wednesday. It takes us 5 days to put up a stage. We've only got 2 days to tear it down. And then they have livestock coming in for the rodeo
we're loading out.
while everything's loading out. So it's been a stressful thing for them, and it's stressful for us to try to meet their accommodation too. But together, they've worked together. And now that we've done a couple of them in a row, you know, last year with Brad Paisley was a little tough on us. I think we were all kind of beat up at the end of that. But this year, you know, we had a bigger show, but we know the venue now. We know what to expect for help from the Rodeo Association. We know this, and each time I think it's going to continue to get easier on us to where it's just like secondhand. We know what we need. We know what we're going to do.
Well, and it's interesting, a lot of the artists that come like REO Speedwagon, you know, they play stadiums, and then we put them into the Fox Theater. So we have to work with that. Like with Aerosmith, they've only played one other dirt venue their whole tour. And that was in Barcelona.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to work with them. You know, we had to bring in the dressing rooms from LA, and so we had to create a compound, you know, with what we've got. So even though we have these local venues, some of these big artists aren't used to playing small venues like the Fox Theater or, you know, like the rodeo on a dirt. So that's interesting too.
They're not always prepared for whatever. I mean, the more preparation we give them and the more information, for instance, the security this time around was extreme. And we started talking early. Well, I think it was 2 weeks prior to them actually showing up. I got a call from him. He said, hey, I'm not even going to show up. I'm going to get married. Can you help me out and find me a place to eat afterwards and all this? He was really cool. He goes, out of all of our shows right now, you've given me the best information. I am not one bit worried about what's going to happen there at your show. So I'm going to relax and hang out with my new wife if you don't mind. I said, happy to hear that. That means we're doing our job.
Yes, by all means.
We're making for an easy setup for them. And once they start giving that feedback to other artists and stuff like that, they're not going to have a problem if we request to have them play here. I mean, they're going to have that knowledge to them saying that these people put on a good show.
Word of mouth is your biggest seller. You know, for anything. For anything.
It's helped us.
And it seems like that you and the crew are now becoming word of mouth.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Oh, no
and,
doubt.
and you know, I already had heard from somebody that Aerosmith complimented you and your team for a job that was well done.
They did. They did. They were very appreciative of all the work that we put in. And, you know, we are an individual event. You know, we're not, you know, an HP Pavilion or a Shoreline that's just, you know, recycling artists every day. We've got an annual event there. And, you know, for us to come in with our stripped down crew of us to do this, Aerosmith recognized what a job that the whole team here did, and they were really appreciative. And quite frankly, they said it was their funnest show on the whole North America run. They had the best time working with all of us. So that was really nice to hear that from them.
Yeah, sure. Sometimes it's a great surprise.
Well, it was a tremendous surprise with Aerosmith that we weren't with Aerosmith. We were, on this specific play, we were dancing with several country artists.
Sure.
And problems fell out with Miranda Lambert and Tim McGraw. We were deeply engaged with Keith Urban, and then all of a sudden we're in a negotiation with Keith Urban, and Aerosmith comes onto the radar screen, and you know, so you know, we're put in a situation, Urban, Aerosmith. I mean, it's
Maybe
kind of
Aerosmith.
maybe
Yeah,
Aerosmith.
maybe.
It was maybe Aerosmith, and we had to make a decision. You know, did we pursue this and drop this? And we went with a gut feeling that we thought we could land the Aerosmith deal, and you know, we terminated negotiations with Urban.
Right.
Not that we didn't like Urban, we certainly do. And then we pursued Aerosmith, and it finally came together. So. Yeah, it certainly was not where we started, but where we finished was a great place.
Yeah, it was. That was such a great fit.
Yeah, nobody's going to say no to the biggest selling American rock band of all time.
No, no.
So when you have an
By all
opportunity to take a play like that, you certainly take advantage of it.
Yeah, it was well done.
Especially in your backyard.
Yeah.
Especially in your backyard.
I know,
That's
honestly,
huge.
it was really big. So I want to thank Dwayne, Erica, we got Rick, Lori, David, you guys explained a lot of stuff. Hopefully you've got a lot of your questions answered, and you know, with all the video that we shot out there. So thanks for letting us do this. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us down.
You know, and we look
Appreciate
forward
it.
to, I don't know. You can always send your request to the Rockbox. As we're on Facebook. Let us know who you think he should bring. Doesn't mean he's gonna, but
We
doesn't mean
welcome the
and.
request.
But
We'll
he
try.
welcomes your request.
Tijuana Brass.
Yeah, Herb Albert.
Robert's
Tijuana.
not
How come
bad.
I
I
knew
like
that?
him. I like him.
I did know that though. All right. Well, thanks guys. It was great having
Thank
you on.
you, John.
Thanks
you,
for hanging
John.
out at the Rockbox.